Hey everybody, Steve here, and this is the companion video, the wiring section only, for our 2005 Cadillac Escalade Double Din, what is it, a Pioneer? Or what is it? Pioneer Double Din stereo installation. This installation is a little bit different than anything that I've done in the past with the Tahoe because this sucker has got steering wheel controls, which adds a whole new level of complexity to the project. But don't let this scare you, because it's not scary. We are going to step by step go through how to get from out of the box to this guy right here in this video. So stick around. If you want to make this job easier on yourself, buy the wiring harnesses. It really just doesn't make sense to try to do this on your own without the harnesses. So this video is going to utilize every bit of technology that we can use to make the job as easy as possible. And without further ado, let's get started. All right, so this is the head unit that I'm going to be putting in the vehicle. It is this Pioneer DMH1500NEX. That doesn't really mean a whole lot to you other than the fact that it's got Apple Play, Android, Waze, Maestro, Spotify, Pandora, Sirius, etc., etc., etc. It's a touch screen, and it's a double din. So, all right, so regardless of what head unit or stereo you buy, your stereo is going to come with a wiring harness, a harness that's specific to that stereo. And here's what I'm going to say over and over and over again. Don't let the number of wires freak you out, okay? If you've got 4 speakers in your car, you need 8 wires right there. I mean, that's what the purples, the greens, the whites, and the grays are for. Boom, right off the top of the head, right off the top, you can knock out 8 wires, okay? Then we've got red and yellow, which are switched in constant power, ground wire. Really, don't freak out about the wires, because in GM land, and that's the only thing I can speak intelligently on, is General Motors vehicles. A lot of times it's just a color match to color match. So just keep that in mind, color match to color match. So this is the wire harness that comes with the radio itself. Okay, so the bottom line on this guy right here is that he knows he belongs to the radio, but he doesn't know what kind of car he's going in. So we're going to need a harness that is specific to the car that he's going to hook up to. And that's going to be this right here. Pretty simple. This guy is going to go into the radio on one side, and he's actually going to attach to the specific car harness on the other side. And we'll get more in depth to that, but essentially it's this guy is going to hook into this guy. And it's really almost that simple. But because of the steering wheel controls, we're also going to need this guy right here. Okay, so we're going to incorporate him into the mix. All right. If you want old school radio with your stereo, you're going to need one of these guys. I will leave links to all of the stuff where you can get it on Amazon in the description, so you don't need to hurry up and try to write this stuff down. This is something that I bought that I probably won't actually even be needing, but essentially what this is if you do not have a 3.5 millimeter jack on the back of your stereo to accommodate the steering wheel controls, you'll need one of these guys. And that's like I said, I'll leave a link in the description as to what this guy is. In a nutshell, that's pretty much it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start breaking this stuff out so that you can see it. We're going to start with this data interface. All right. Harness, and there's a box. It actually came packaged nicer than this. I've actually already had it out so that I could test everything out prior to making the video, so that I can make the video without bumbling and fumbling. All right, which is what I appreciate other people doing when I watch their videos, but hey, you know, nonetheless. All right, so we've got that, and let's see, we've got this guy right here, steering controls. And we'll unbox him. The unboxing. Dun, dun, dun. I hate unboxing videos. They're stupid. But people love them. Right, here we go. We got that. And we got that, right? So we got that. We got that. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope you appreciate it. Hope that helped you learn how to install your stereo. No, I'm just kidding. Just totally kidding. All right, so look. Let's not let this intimidate anybody. All right, so this is mandatory. We need to be able to plug this in the back of our radio. This is mandatory. We need to plug this into this so that we can plug this into the existing harness in the car, right? Now the radio is talking to the existing harness in the car. Boom, done, plain and simple. We've got a functioning radio. Everything will work with the exception of the steering wheel controls. The only thing that gets goofy is when we have to start adding the steering wheel controls, which is where we're going to have to, get the rest of this stuff in here. But don't fret. Do not fret, all right? If you want a radio that works and you want the steering wheel controls, you need to buy both this and this. But guess what? I got good news. You see this? You see this harness right here, okay? This harness right here with its little 3.5 millimeter guy, all right? He came with this, all right? So these guys over there, check this out. Right out of the gate, this harness right here, which is part of this guy right here, all right? Look familiar? 3.5 millimeter jack. Let's see here. Up here, we got this right here. So what I'm getting at is if you see this guy right here, and you see this guy right here, they are identical, okay? So we can actually take this and we can get rid of it right away. Even with all these wires, it's still not hard. Just stick with me here. They make this as pretty dummy proof as possible. So check it out right here. This is an 18 pin harness right here, okay? It's got 18 pins. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find the box with 18 pins. And I'm gonna plug it in. It only goes on one side. It will not go in the 16 pin on the other side. All right, it's an 18 pin harness. It has a little. You can't mess this up. 18 pin harness. Boom. Put it until it clicks, and it's done. You're done with that part. All right. Now, 16 pin harness. That's this guy right here. Okay, 16 pin harness. He's got 16 pins. So why don't we stick him in? Right here, like so. Done. 16 pin harness. All right, now this, we have said this time and time again, this goes to the radio itself. So we're going to set this aside because this is just going to go back into the back of the radio, and we don't necessarily need the radio now. It'll take up half my screen. So I'm just going to put that there. All right, so what do we got left? We got this gray one, which is going to go into the car itself. And we actually have this gray one, which is also going to go into the car itself. Easy, easy peasy. And what are we left with? Well, we're left with this one. And it's a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Well, guess where he goes? And the only place that's left, into this 12, into this little box right here. So let's take this guy and pop him in here, like this. Boom, done. All right, so now what do we got? All right, stick with me here because I don't want you to be intimidated by all these wires. These guys, we're just going to ignore them for a second, okay? The vast majority of wires coming off of this box are actually going into this harness right here. Look, that many of them are going into this harness. You don't ever have to do anything with them. A few others are going into this harness right here, so you don't have to really mess with this. Of all the wires that are coming off of this box right here, the only ones that you got to worry about are the yellow one, a couple of orange ones, a red one, and a couple black ones, and that's it. So that's what yellow, that's 3, 4, 5, and then this 3.5 millimeter jack right here, okay? That's it. But you're saying, hey, wait a minute. What about that other end? All right, let's take a look at this other end. This right here is what's going to go into your radio harness. And the good news is that of all of these wires, the 3 of these are for if you've got a backup camera or whatever. All right, so I don't have backup cameras, so I'm going to be moving these aside. Now, what are we left with? Of these 12 wires right here, the greens, the purples, the whites, and the grays, all 8 of these are speaker wires. And guess what? They're going to match up identically to the car stereo itself's greens, grays, whites, and purples. 1 for 1. Very easy. That's 8 wires right there, all taken care of. Then you're basically left with your blue and white, which is your remote turn on, your red one, which is power, and your orange and white one, which is the dimmer or illumination. And that's it. It really is that easy. You get past the fact that the vast majority of these are speaker wires. You got power, and a couple others, and you're good to go. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start back at the radio, okay? This guy gets plugged into the radio. It has a bunch of leads for speakers and power. Just think of it that way, speakers and power. Well, speakers and power. This guy is going to hook up with this guy, and when we're done with it, he's going to look like this. And then there's going to be this guy, and then there's going to be this nonsense over here. This is an easy plug-in. This is an easy plug-in. We've got a couple oranges and a yellow and a red and a black, and we're done. We can actually do all of the wiring in here in the shop, and then when we get down to the car, it's just a matter of throwing the double DIN in and getting everything to fit. So without further ado, I'm going to start soldering. And what I'm going to solder, I'm going to start with the speaker wires because those are the easiest. And I'm just going to go one by one by one by one. I'll find the two greens. Now mind you, there's a green and then there's a green with a black stripe. And over here, there's a green right here, and then there's a green with a black stripe. Black stripe, boom, boom, boom. So if you look at these wires and you dumb it down to one at a time, you'll realize that this is not that difficult. So I'm going to fire up the soldering iron. I'm going to get to soldering. All right, so we're done soldering, and just trying to break this down just a little bit. See if I can make it to where you can understand it. This little guy right here, this harness right here is the harness that goes into the back of our radio. So it's just going to go into the back of our radio. All of these guys right here, the whites, the grays, the purples, and the greens, those are all speakers. 4 speakers, 8 wires, yellow connections, they're done. That's the vast majority of them. We also have a yellow wire, which is constant power, and red wire, which is switched power, and a black wire, which is ground. We also have this orange and white wire, which is basically the dimmer switch. Okay, and that's it. So it's basically 8 speakers, those guys right there, those 4 right there, and then we've got this blue and white wire, and the blue and white wire is the remote wire. There's also a few wires here that I chose not to use. I didn't do anything with the mute, didn't do anything with the parking brake, which is the yellow and the green ones. As for these green ones, as previously mentioned, I don't have a backup camera, so I didn't need to do anything there. This brown one I didn't need to do anything with because I have a 3.5 millimeter jack to the back of the radio. Remember, if you don't have a 3.5 millimeter jack to the back of the radio, you're going to need this guy. And he is going to go to the brown one. Whether you to the solid brown to the brown or the brown to the white to the brown, you're going to have to read the directions based on your specific application. Okay? So, to the radio. Now, half of this nonsense is going to this box right here. Well, that's easy enough. It's all done for us. And out of this box, the vast majority of these wires, as we've previously discussed, the vast majority of them go already into a harness that you don't have to really worry about. Or this harness, which you don't really have to worry about. You're just left with a few choices to make. Okay? The yellow one, which is constant power. The yellow one went back to the yellow one we just talked about. The dimmer switch, which is the orange one, right here, the orange and white one, went back to the dimmer switch. Okay? And then the rest of the wires go into this little box right here. All right? We have 3 red wires. We've got a red wire from this box. We got a red wire from this box. And we got a red wire from this guy right here. And they all get joined together. All the reds get joined together. And that's all of them. Except for this 3.5 jack, which is going to go into the back of our radio. If you look at your directions for your Axis AXGM-04, and you have to look at your directions because I can't tell you because look, there's this many options, all right? Based on what vehicle you have, you're actually going to be cutting a couple of wires, okay? And the reason why you're going to be cutting a couple of wires is because the harness is designed to accommodate all cars. Well, you've got to cut the wires that have nothing to do with your car and leave the wires that do have something to do with your car. In this particular case, this is a 2005 Cadillac Escalade. It's got a little asterisk. The asterisk tells us to cut the white green, the green orange, and the orange green. And that is why we've cut these 3 right there. We cut the 3 that it told us to cut, and we left the pink one, And we left the white one and the red one, and we left the black one and the red one, and, you know, basically left all the ones that we needed to leave to make it work for our car. That's why we cut stuff. So when we get back to the car, this crazy, scary mess is going to be easy, because this is going to go in the back of the radio. This is going to go into the existing wire harness for the car. This is going to go into the existing wire harness for the car. The whole kit and caboodle is going to get shoved behind the radio, and we're done. And I mean, that's an oversimplification, because, you know, we still need our antenna guy, and we're still going to plug a USB into the back of the radio so that we can use our phone with our USB. But really, don't be scared of the wires. It's a 1-for-1. If you're not colorblind, you can do this. If you are colorblind, find somebody in your family who's not colorblind and let them sit next to you.
Terrible.
Huh? That's terrible? I'm terrible. She says I'm terrible. All right? But the reality is though, even though there's a lot of wires, it's not scary. You can do this. We did it. All right, so I hope you found that helpful. I hope that you found it as clear as I tried to make it. If you have any questions or whatever, please just leave a question in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer. But this is general wiring for the General Motors 2000 to 2013 if you're using the AX GM-04. And then don't forget that if you've got the steering wheel controls, you're also going to need to use this guy right here, which is the AX SWC. SWC stands for steering wheel controls. All right. Please remember to subscribe, hit that little bell so that you get notifications of future videos. I'm Steve signing off. Till the next video, see ya.